Good evening, bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite in Portuguese. My name is Regina Ruxo. I am honored to be the host of day one of the first Excellence Seminar of BIMe Excellence Organization. Welcome, bem-vindo. I am from Brazil, speaking from Campinas, São Paulo. I am professor at the University of Campinas, and as a researcher, I study digital transformation of engineering and architectural design processes. I also study user assessment of the built environment. I collaborate in the Brazilian National Association of Technology of the Built Environment, promoting BIM education, sharing experiences. I am the editor of the Brazilian Journal of Research in Architecture and Building Construction. I have been a member of the community of the BIM Excellence Initiative, which we call BIMe Initiative, since 2018, where I'm involved in two projects. I participate as a reviewer of the BIM Dictionary project in its translation to Portuguese, and I'm also engaged as a team member of the Model Use Template project. The BIMe Initiative is a group effort to help practitioners to improve their digital workflow and deliverables. Organizations and individuals who share our enthusiasm for digital transformation are welcome to join us. This is our first public presentation. The Excellence Seminar will introduce BIMe Initiative community with over 130 volunteers from more than 40 countries, working together to deliver resources and open access to free for all. The BIMe Initiative is a nonprofit knowledge generation and sharing effort undertaken by volunteers, researchers from both industry and academia. The BIMe Initiative provides a community-based, research-driven alternative to top-down, authority-led, and prescriptive BIM diffusion policies. Supported by clear knowledge structures, a network of international experts, and an expanding modular language, we deliver innovative, coherent, and timely response to challenges brought forward by BIM adoption in organizations of all scales. The first BIM Excellence Seminar will present the work developed by BIMe Initiative community. It will be a milestone for learning and knowledge and information sharing. Now, let me take a moment to give you an overview of our schedule. Today, we will start presenting the BIMe Initiative with a brief introduction to our community, principles, projects, and joint volunteer effort. This presentation will be followed by questions and answers, and we will have a word also with a BIMe Initiative supporter. Then the macro adoption project will be presented. Let me take a moment to talk a little bit about this project. This project conducts research and publishes materials that assist policymakers in developing, evaluating, and improving their macro BIM adoption strategies. This section will cover what project team has delivered up to date and provide insights into its approach to conduct assessment over 50 countries. It will clarify how participants are selected in collaboration agreements made with national institutions to deliver international best practice to encourage adoption across borders. This presentation will also be followed by question and answer sessions. The second and third day of our seminar will go about the same matter. Projects will be presented, followed by Q&A moments. Day 2, Saturday, we will present the projects of knowledge and organization sharing, competency and learning, and the popular and extremely useful BIM dictionary. Day 3, Sunday, will present insights of our growing community and the Integrated Information Project, which aims to facilitate the delivery of open access integrated information platforms to guide the generation, use, sharing, storage, and reuse of asset information throughout its life cycle. Now, your comments are very much welcome throughout the seminar and will be focused on the moments of question and answers. Finally, after 3 days together, we'll finish with a closeout section. Our supporters at specific times have a moment with us. They are BEXEL Consulting, a modern high-tech construction and engineering consulting company, IQC 4.0, Quebec Initiative for Construction 4.0, that engages and mobilizes participants from Quebec construction industry to digital change and transformation to Construction 4.0. Then we also have the Nova Building ITQ GmbH, which develops true innovations. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. About the public that is with us today, you. We have a total booking of 778 participants from our website and 2,640 reservations in LinkedIn. And this happened throughout the days of from June 24th to yesterday. So we have a diverse group of individuals varying from mostly architects, engineers, urban designers, but also contractors, fabricators, and asset operators. Educators, researchers, and students are the second group of interest with us today, followed by developers. Thank you all for joining us today. Sharing knowledge is one of our main principles in the BIMe Initiative. Now, some of your comments and questions will be forwarded to the presenters in the Q&A sessions. It will be a moment of interaction, so participate in YouTube. We're waiting for that eagerly, commenting, asking questions on Facebook chat as well. You can send questions after these sessions to the contact us at bimexcellence.org if we're not able to answer them all. This seminar will be recorded and available on YouTube. Posts on social media are most welcome and appreciated. Use hashtag Excellence Seminar. For more inspiration, please visit our site of BIM Excellence Organization. Read the material there at bimexcellence.org also. Well, so let's start with the first section. Now, Bilal Suker, Director of Change Agent ANC and founder of BIMe Initiative, will present the initiative general strategy. Welcome, Bilal.
Well, thank you, Regina, and good morning, good evening, sabah al-khair, masa al-khair. This is in both languages, English and my native Arabic, to all of you out there joining us today. Thank you so much for being with us on our first public seminar, the Excellence Seminar. So I'm going to be presenting quickly for you the essence or the basic approach taken by the BIMe Initiative. Of course, over the next today and the next 2 days, you will learn much more about the specifics of particular projects. Hopefully, as we go through these 3 days, we're able to answer all your questions and discuss with you how these things are interrelated. Now, the BIMe Initiative is a not-for-profit effort, okay? It's all about knowledge generation. It's all about knowledge sharing. It's done by volunteers, people from all over, from different countries. They volunteer their time and efforts. They are researchers. They come from both industry and academia. And when we say researchers in the initiative, we mean anybody who looks at a complex problem, let's say, and uses research-based methods to try to address these problems. So a researcher doesn't have to be someone who works in academia. It could be someone working at a small organization, a large organization, but he or she are worried that they're not being productive in resolving some of the digital challenges, and they invest their time and effort and passion in trying to resolve these. So we're a community of researchers. What we're trying to deliver is a kind of innovative response. There is lots of responses to digital challenges in our industry. And the BIMe Initiative tries to look at the problems faced by our built environment and tries to offer an innovative way of resolving some of the many problems that we are all facing. And I'm hoping over the next, today and the next 2 days, you will see how we're trying to approach these challenges. We are more than 130 community members, researchers. We speak 40 or more different languages. We are research driven. We're passionate about research, and we offer our research, our work as a community as an alternative to prescriptive ways of doing things. So when we were discussing the BIMe initiative, we're discussing open frameworks. So we're discussing a common language. We're not discussing things that are prescribed that you have to follow step by step. It's more about empowering people to investigate problems on their own and giving them some, the language they need to deliver their own solutions. Who are we? We are researchers. That's very important who we are. So again, as a researcher, you are someone who are looking at a problem and trying to investigate it in a methodical way, trying to find the best solution, trying to find proof. You have rigor. You're trying to do things in a reliable way. We are composed of professors and students. You've seen Professor Regina or Professor Qasim with us. We have other professors as well. Sorry, not be able to mention everyone. We have students studying at university, bachelor and masters and PhD students. We have a combination of practitioners and academics, and we work together to solve, these common problems. As I mentioned, we live in 40 plus countries. Actually, we stopped counting after 40. So if maybe we present after 6 months, maybe we still say 40 because there's so many, new people joining us. And we're hoping that we'll cross we'll be able to double the number of countries by next year. What's our mission? Our main mission is to accelerate digital transformation of the built environment. It's a big mission. Of course, you say, okay, so how are you going to do this? This is a very broad, very ambitious. How are you going to accelerate digital transformation of the built environment? What I would say, and what we all would say, that we all have a small part to play in this. The difference would be that rather than each one of us playing their own part on their own, we collate our efforts into a community. What's our vision? Our vision is to demonstrate new ways of thinking. Meaning, we have many persistent problems in our industry, and trying to resolve them in the old and tried way is not a valid way of going forward. So our vision is to demonstrate to everyone who work with us and people who wish to work with us that there are new ways of thinking about these problems. There are new ways of researching at scale. There are new ways of learning and collaborating all together. We have 3 main goals. The first one is to help practitioners, and these are priority. Help practitioners to improve their digital competence, helping them to understand what's needed, helping them to understand what's missing, and helping them to identify how to improve their performance. Our second goal is to assess organizations as a whole. Of course, organizations are made of people, but also there are systems. We want to help organizations to adopt innovative ways of working, to adapt ways that are available to them so that they suit them, to suit their particular requirements, and to innovate. We want to help them to innovate. And our third goal is to support policymakers. People who are responsible to encourage digital innovation and transformation within markets. We want to help them to improve their transformation strategies. And today you will learn about some of the approaches we take for helping policymakers. Everything you will see today, you will see tomorrow, you see after tomorrow, and you will see always is driven by a set of principles. We have four main principles. The first one is we are very committed to openness. When we say openness, we mean openness. We don't mean half open, three quarters open. We mean openness. The second one is we work around a knowledge structure. So as a community, we need to structure ourselves, around something. So rather than using hierarchical ways of working, or like this is a committee and this is a subcommittee and this is a chapter and this is a sub-chapter and this is what, we don't do that. As a community, we are grown, we grow our efforts, we grow as individuals, as volunteers around a common knowledge structure. So knowledge structure is what ties us together, ties our efforts together. Third and really important principle that we follow, that all our efforts are done by peers. So you see, we have 130 and more people will join us in the future. We are all peers. We deal with each other as peers. All of us will have our strong opinions or strong specialties. People who join us have very specialized skills, and everything we do is peer tested. We peer test things internally, like when we do something, we send it to a group, another group who hasn't worked on that problem, and ask them to review it. And as I mentioned, many of our members are already highly trained in reviewing very complex materials. And also we ask for peer testing, peer reviewing by others, by publishing our materials in journal papers or by releasing our information in the domain, in public domains, for people to comment on. Fourth, and we say one of the most important principles we've got is that we deal with open innovation across boundaries. There is no sense nowadays to innovate at a local level. We need to think of innovation as a global issue, and we address it as a global issue, and then we localize it. Gone are the days when somebody will find a solution that is unique to their country or their city. It's now we are all facing very similar challenges, whether it is a pandemic or whether it is a digital transformation challenges. We are facing the same problem. So really, we need to open ourselves up to dealing with these issues at a global scale, and of course, later, and when we can, customize them to our specific requirements, specific languages, specific challenges. We also have an excellence manifesto, and anyone who joins the community is required to sign the excellence manifesto. It has many basic principles of how we work. Some of them are covered in the general principles, but there are other more specific things. We are educational, we are collaborative, we have to be reliable. We also have to deliver our materials in a testable and visual way. We encourage everyone who's listening today and everyone listening in the future to also look at the Excellence Manifesto and sign it and join us in our effort to making knowledge more open and to accelerate digital transformation. Now, the way we deliver the work we do is, of course, through projects. When we're discussing projects, we have these projects are interconnected. We have a connected knowledge and we have connected projects. So when you're discussing connected knowledge, there are certain principles that we follow in knowledge engineering, in knowledge sharing, in knowledge management. We will have hopefully in the future a session specifically focused on how we deal with knowledge, and also you will hear about how we manage knowledge in the next 2 days. But the connected knowledge drives our connected projects and our connected community. So we have currently 6 top-level projects. Project A, which is the BIM dictionary, focuses on the common terminology needed across the industry and also needed by the BIMe Initiative community in order to deliver its innovative solutions. Project B is about knowledge sharing and exchange. So this is the project that we come to you today through. The seminar is part of Project B. It's all about how we organize the knowledge, how we share our knowledge, the ontologies, the taxonomies, all these fancy sounding words. It's all about organizing the work we do. Without a very strong knowledge structure, the work we do across these different projects will fall apart. So this is very important to keep these projects, efforts connected through a strong knowledge structure. Project C is all about competency and learning, and this project has not launched yet. There's only a few resources related to it, but we will soon announce a symposium to identify the best way to move forward. This project is about competency and competency-based learning, the right way, the most appropriate way to teach, to learn about digital transformation across practices across academia. Project D, also not launched yet, focuses on performance improvement within organizations. We've also released a couple of resources related to this, but it hasn't really been launched formally yet, and more information about that will be released in the near future. Project E is all about macro adoption, and you will hear about macro adoption project today. So I'm not going to be explaining it in any detail, but it's about the macro scale that covers all markets, the adoption, education, and policy making. Project F, last of 6 projects, integrated information, is one of the largest projects that has just launched in the past few months. You will hear about it in the 3rd day. You will hear about a couple of micro projects called model use template and software selection. Now, when we're discussing connected projects, these are 6 projects. What we have tens, if not hundreds, of micro projects and work packages. And I'll discuss this with you tomorrow or the day after about how these projects are interconnected. So you've heard our mission, our vision, and our principles, and you've seen our basic approach to our knowledge restructuring and projects. What are our deliverables? We deliver a number of things, and just remember the 3 main goals, helping individuals, helping organizations, and helping policymakers. So the first thing we deliver is a set of matrices, a decision support matrix, for example, a number of lists. And this is very important to provide the language needed for organizations, for individuals to use on their own to develop their own solutions. So the reason why we release these lists is not to say this is the only list you will need. We do that in order to transfer the knowledge to the user, to the practitioner, to the researcher to use in developing new lists and better matrices and better tools. We do macro assessments. Again, you'll hear about this later today. And this is one of the most important deliverables of the project, of the initiative. We also restructure ourselves around modular workflows. And now one of the main issues surrounding the type of work we do and similar initiatives and communities in the world is how do they explain complex processes. We have developed and we're continuing to develop a modular language to be used in expressing complex processes in the simplest possible way. I'll try to explain this in day 3. Finally, and this is also where all this knowledge connects with the user, we all offer open access tools for everyone to use for information management and knowledge sharing. We are also, we have considered in the past doing open source, and we can discuss why we've chosen open access in the next couple of days. You see here a sample of these lists and matrices and model flows. You will hear about specific ones over the next 2 days. So in this first Excellence seminar, this is our first public seminar, and really, we're all pleased, we're all excited that you are joining us. You're seeing what we're doing as a community. We have done many meetings internal with the community. What we have decided now, it's time to share with you, to share with the public what we're doing, showing the structures, showing the groups, showing the teams, showing the module, showing everything we're doing. We want everyone to see what we're doing. We want to also attract talented people to join our effort to promote, to accelerate digital innovation. So in this first Excellence seminar, it is our invitation first for you to meet the many members of our community, and of course it's an invitation to also join us, as you will see in day 3. You'll also learn of what have been developed in the past 3 years. So the BIMe Initiative started, the first time it attempted to start was back in 2009, 2010. It was a full start. It was maybe too early, or maybe the knowledge structure wasn't ready enough, and then what restarted 3 years ago. And now we have 130 talented volunteers contributing their effort and time to help everyone improve their digital performance. You also see, as we were discussing, you will see today, and you see tomorrow, and you see on Sunday, what we're preparing over the next 3 days, and you see the openings available for people to join our community. By this, I have finished presenting the basics of the BIMe initiative as a community, as a knowledge generation and exchange, effort by wonderful people who have really dedicated their own personal time to help everyone in an open way in order to exchange knowledge and to help our industry move forward. Look forward to answering your questions, and all of us are look forward to answer your questions, and hope to meet you again in a session I'm presenting also tomorrow and the day after, small sessions. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bilal. It's also always a pleasure to hear you. You have the gift of making complex goals simple. You have, I really enjoyed when you said that you want to empower people. You have this way of an openness to diversity in your aspect of seeing diversity, seeing researchers. Very, very nice. It's also very nice to see our goal as to, so simple put, as accelerate digital transformation. Well, thank you so much. Now we're going to call, we start the interaction with the public. I hope there's many questions and feedback for us. So I call, I introduce you, Ms. Thea Hellman Yukish. She is a reviewer of the BIM Dictionary Croatian language team, and she's going to moderate this session. Let me present Tia. Tia is an architect of Architectonic Studio Hellman and Yukish. Her practice focused revitalization, sustainability, and preservation of historical buildings, and she is a BIM evangelist since 2010. Tia, so nice to have you here with us. Now the floor and the display is yours with the question from people that are listening us right now.
Thank you so much, Regina. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from Zagreb, Croatia. Dobro jutro, dobar dan I dobra večer, since we are all over the world. Welcome again. So, Bilal, thank you for your very substantial presentation. First of all, I have seen in the stream from YouTube that there is so many questions how to join the community. Please, I think that is a very, very important question, since there is a lot of people who want to join us. Please, what can you tell them? How to join the community?
The answer is on day 3. Okay, so please join us on day 3. I'm just teasing here. Every project will have its own requirements and will set its own what we call a competency profile for people they're looking for. Like you'll hear some of that today and you'll hear of that tomorrow. So the way we approach growing the community, we are open to everyone, but it needs to match what they like to do, what they're passionate about, what they have specialty in. Okay, nothing more frustrating is to join a community where you find that it does not align with your abilities, with your ambition. So what we're going to do, as you will see in day 3, as we discuss this in more detail, we will provide for every opening a description, as if it's a much more detailed than a job description, saying we are looking for someone with these abilities to join this project or micro project. Then people would look at that and say, okay, I think I can do 7 out of 10 of these. I want to join. And there will be this opening is for everyone. It's not about that Bilal will recommend something and Tia would accept, or Tia will recommend something and Bilal accept. No, it is about competency matching, and you will see this happening as we discuss this in more detail in day 3. So please be patient with us as we develop more our ability to absorb more people. We are actually have put some breaks on growing the community because we will not be able to absorb all the people interested, but we are definitely encourage everyone, once they see an opening for any of the project they're interested in, to definitely apply, and we'll make that application process very clear, very transparent, and very open.
Thank you so much for the elaborate answer. I have a question for you regarding maybe there is needed a clarification. Why do you think that the BIMe initiative is needed right now? Aren't there enough standards and worldwide efforts? Why does it stand out, under your opinion?
Yes, the initiative it does not aim at or ever aim to deliver standards. Okay, there are lots of standards. If you ask some of us, there is quite a lot of standards, like a substantial
Yes.
number of standards, and going to be even more standards. By the time we finish this session. We really need more frameworks. We need more openness. We need things for people to change, to take ownership of, to modify for their own requirements. So in a sea filled with standards and prescriptive approaches, we want to offer a modular language for people to use on their own. We want to offer a community-based approach. We want to offer something that you can change, can take ownership of, and modify for your own use. You will see if you, and I'll end here because this is a very important topic to cover. We need more communities to work on complex problems. We, as a community, we're just going to be one of these communities, and we're going to encourage others like us to join the effort, create a community, and try to resolve complex problems facing our built environment.
Thank you. I have seen that there are at least 2 questions regarding how does the BIMe initiative work align with the work of Building Smart International. Osama and Wayne are asking these questions, so please answer us if you can.
There is Building Smart International and Building Smart chapters. They're doing very important work. Many of our members are members of Building Smart. You will find, when the BIM dictionary is discussed, you find our prominent members of Building Smart Canada. We had Building Smart Spain. We have Building Smart in Russia. They are members of the initiative. We find what we do and the work done by Building Smart as complementary. We do not cover the same topics. There is some minor overlap, but our focus is on knowledge sharing, open knowledge sharing, empowering practitioners and organizations to develop their own decision support systems. So we complement what they do, we learn from their efforts, and we're hoping in the future to also identify areas where we can work on the same problem together. But at the moment, there is minimal, if any, overlap between what we do and what the great work that is done by Building Smart, ISO, SAN, OGC, and all these other important efforts.
Thank you. Well, since we all have experienced this quite hard and challenging year 2020, please can you tell us more about how our BIMe initiative survived those challenging times, and what was it doing during the pandemic, and what do you see as its role afterwards? I mean, after we hopefully come over it.
Yeah, I speak to you from Melbourne, where we are in lockdown for the past 3 weeks, and many people, of course, have facing similar issues, and we're saddened by all the loss of life, and of course, the silver lining of this is that people have been forced to think of digital as a default way of working. And from a optimist point of view, this has been an excellent opportunity for people to investigate, to try to work remotely, to focus on digital means of work, where digital becomes the default. So this is actually what the initiative encourages and works towards. We want to encourage digital transformation, because only with digital transformation we could achieve improved automation and productivity. So during this period of time, you will find that we've done a lot of work, because everyone is at home, sitting in their pajamas. They have a cup of coffee or tea, working on, okay, I have some time, I want to think of important problems. And the initiative offers that to people, and we, in the past few months, the productivity of the initiative has more than doubled, let's say. Now, to answer your second question, the future is for communities like the initiative. There's no, there's no two ways of looking about this. The future is for smart, intelligent, connected, digitally enabled individuals working together to solve a complex problem. Look at the pandemic. What did we learn from the pandemic? How people are trying to solve the issues related to COVID-19? People are opening up their data sets. Scientists are working together to find solutions. We have to use the same spirit in trying to identify, solve issues facing our built environment. We have very complex problems in the construction industry, and the initiative and similar communities have a big role to play in that.
Thank you. Well, yes, indeed, those heavy times and many people being isolated has really brought the issue of interconnecting more freely and more substantial. Well, among many colleagues, we can hear so many initiatives to break the silos, especially with us practitioners. We have seen too many people working, in their own silos, working only in their substricted professional fields. And this was really detected as one of the major problems in the industry. Could you tell us more about the BIMe initiative role in this effort also?
Yep. So our role is to produce knowledge for people to use. Okay, as simple as that. We work together. We identify complex problems. We're not trying to resolve anything simple. And you will see, as you will see it today, and you see tomorrow and after tomorrow, we are tackling important things that need to be done and require a lot of effort. The initiative role in this is to develop the structures needed, the community mechanisms to resolve these problems, not tomorrow. Maybe it will take a year, maybe it take 3 years, maybe it take 5 years. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we are on the road of resolving them in a consistent, interconnected way. So BIME Initiative will try, is positioning its effort as a common language for everyone to use to solve their own problems. If we succeed, everyone will succeed. Our success will be measured by the success of the practitioner when they are using the materials we provide them to improve their productivity. If they use our materials and it does not improve their productivity, we have failed. Okay, so our measurement is for the practitioner, for the organization to use the materials to improve their performance, and for policymakers to improve their strategies and roadmaps. So as simple as that, that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you. Yes. Well, good luck to us all with that
Good luck to us
task.
all. Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you, Tia.
Well, just one question, as I can see. Maybe there will be some more in the future hours and days. But there is one question from Ms. Stefania Correa. Great to know a little bit more about BIMe initiative. I see it is not only on BIM, but on digitalization of the built environment. How are artificial intelligence, machine learning, and digital twins related to BIMe initiative?
Yep. When we use the term BIM in the BIMe initiative or BIM Excellence initiative, we mean every tool, every process, and every protocol needed for digitally transforming our industry. Okay, so really, we use the term BIM as an umbrella term. Okay, doesn't matter how people define it. Really, the term itself is not important. We use BIM as a term to harvest, to encourage, to motivate people to work on digital innovation, digital transformation problems. Okay, so when we use BIM in a BIM initiative, it means everything that was mentioned in the question, much more. And you see this explained in more detail tomorrow when we're discussing our topics that we cover. You will see it also in terminology we cover in the dictionary, and the things also we cover in the integrated information. So everything is covered under this term. We still call BIM, but really it is just an umbrella term for all of us to work together.
Thank you. And I have seen another one question. Mr. Carlos Antonio Aguilar. BIME is considering that the different realities in each country can sometimes be an issue or perhaps a point of enrichment to have a more diverse community, or so we can call more universal.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that question and answer, and at the same time, meaning
Yes.
there is two things that seem to be contradictory. One is everything seems, our countries are different, our languages are different, evidently, okay, but everything is the same. So we have to deal with this contradiction as we work. So we have to focus what are the things, what are the same, the same, even identical problems, okay, and try to focus on these and try to resolve them or provide solutions for them, and then open these up for customization. Meaning, it's about identifying what's common, and what's common between all these countries and all these problems is much more what separates them. When we focus on these and we resolve some of them, we can then specialize them. Say, okay, this is the solution in common, but for you in that specific country, under this specific procurement model, under this specific geographical limitations, etc., it can be customized. So we start with the general and common, and then we go to the customized. And this is very different to the approach taken that to start with the local, with the particular, and then try to generalize it. Okay, that's a very different approach, and we'll have a chance to discuss this in more detail, hopefully in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for very, very good questions, insightful questions. And thank you also very much for the very, very nice compliments that our initiative is receiving, and also our presenters. So thank you all. Regina, please, shall you take over?
Okay, then. Well, thank you so
Very much.
much. Thank you, Tia, Teas. Thank you, Bilal, for your contribution. Thank you for the questions. If you are hearing us and you come up with the question afterwards, you can send it here at YouTube. All my question is on this presentation that already finished. I only have this thought about this right now, or you can write it on our site, BIMEXcellence.org, and contact us and send your question afterwards also. So now we go on with the second part of our interview, of our seminar. We're going to do an interview with our supporter and also discuss the macro adoption project. Starting now with the interview. We have an important partner that supports the development of our knowledge structure in projects. I call BIMe Initiative colleague, Mr. Bruno Mota. He is a managing consultant at Logical Projects at UK, also specialized in lean management, and also at BIME. He's a member of the Model Use Template Project. To interview Mr. Igor Osmokrovic, he is Chief Operating Officer at BEXEL Support BIMe Initiative. So now I leave the screen with both of you. Thank you very much to be here with us.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Regina. I'll take it from here. My name is Bruno Mota. I'm a managing consultant at Logical Projects in the UK, specialized in lean management. At the BIMe Initiative, I work alongside the Model Use Template team, helping them with the project management aspect of it. Which shows that our community is very wide and have different specialties. And I have here with me Mr. Igor Osmokrovic. He's a Chief Operation Officer and BEXEL Consulting. Hello, Igor. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, Bruno. Thank you.
Can you please introduce yourself and your company? Tell us what you do, what your company do, what products or service do you offer, and a little bit of active projects.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, Regina, for introduction, and good afternoon and good evening, good morning to all of you, wherever you are joining from. I really want to say it is my pleasure to join this event since I highly appreciate all that BIMe Initiative has been doing. Great job, guys. Your vision and commitment to open yet review the knowledge database and growing the BIM community really deserves a big applause. And I think that you will have even wider support, and this event really helps it. It's great. I saw the very big numbers of registered professionals, so it's really going great. To introduce myself, I'm Igor Osmokrovic. Very good pronunciation of my surname by Bruno. Thank you. I'm Chief Operating Officer at BEXEL Consulting, and I'm structural engineer and BIM professional with almost a decade of BIM experience, mainly in BIM implementation on large-scale projects. And also, I can say that I'm a small part of the great development team for our BEXEL Manager platform. Also, what helps me to fit in this crew today is that I have some academia experience, and also I'm currently the board member of the BIM Serbia Association, and I know that my colleagues from BIM Serbia Association have been already contributing to some of your BIMe Initiative projects. Can you, Bruno, pass for the next slide? Thank you. Yeah. After myself, I should probably introduce with the BEXEL Consulting Company. Well, it is software development and consultancy company with more than 15 years in development of software solutions and 10 years of construction project management. In that period, we successfully implemented BIM in more than 180 projects and in 40 countries. So we work globally in 5 continents. And we can say that we have some experience of 7 million of square meters were constructed with our BIM implementation support. And also, I can say that there are a lot of infrastructure projects that include BIM implementation, and that sector is also rising in the recent years. BEXEL Consulting is multinational member of Building Smart International, and it's openly very dedicated to the open BIM and the collaboration and standardization. So that would be the short introduction from my side.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Do you think you can talk a little bit more about the products and services that you offer, and a little bit about the active projects that you have?
Yes, thank you. As a software development and consultancy company, we have to say that our flagship product is our BEXEL Manager platform. It is the BIM analysis and management platform that integrates 3D, 4D, 5D, and 6D, so facility maintenance management BIM uses, and it is all integrated in one environment. So we are very proud on our product. In terms of services, we provide BIM project management services so full BIM project management, and also we are often engaged to supervise the BIM implementation process. And of course, sometimes we are engaged to provide BIM training and implementation. So for the companies that are dedicated to digital transformation, those are our services. And in terms of projects that you asked, we have a very different, diversified scope of BIM services that we deliver and also operate globally. So at one hand, we provide, of course, support for our users that are implementing BEXEL Manager technology. And maybe one interesting project that we are working on now is the Offenburg Tunnel, that is active project in Germany. Also, when we are working as BIM supervision, we have interesting project of railway in Slovenia. It is a big investment, a €1 billion plus investment, where it is the second railway line between Divac and Koper, two places in Slovenia, where it's very interesting project because it has more than 30 kilometers of tunnel tubes. So very interesting infrastructure endeavor. Also, we have full BIM project management. So not only BIM management for the project of tower, VEX 65 tower in Belgrade, that is going to be the tallest building when finished in the region. And we have some big projects, pharmaceutical in Switzerland, also some beautiful hotel resorts in Caribbean, would like to be there. But so very diversified projects. And maybe I can mention also the Al Rayyan Stadium project for FIFA 2022. That is the project where we were BIM managers. That is something that we recently finished.
That's brilliant. That was brilliant. Well done. Can you tell me a little bit what are the next steps for the company's future?
Yes. Well, we just released BEXEL Manager 20. That is our new release, and it really is one step towards the road to construction 4.0, as we call it. So we really continue to develop the advanced and smart BIM project management and smart planning workflows. I always want to mention them. We are very proud on our software development team. They're really doing a great job, and the pace of implementing the advanced features is really amazing. That's something that really inspires us. And when you say about future, we have a very fast growing interest in our software, because that integrated 4D and 5D approach is becoming actually the very hot topic, because it is the most beneficial approach for the reaching the benefits, often beneficial for reaching the benefits of projects, you know. So I think that we will continue to our dedication to promoting it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Let me ask you something else. What's the take on the main BIM issues that your company tries to solve?
You know, we always think about automation, standardization, and quality. Those are three pillars that we are thinking of when we are thinking about BIM. So I want to say that it is really incredible how much we can actually automate and optimize and benefit from when we have the consistent BIM process implemented. So when it comes to project planning and management, we really try to automate those manual, repetitive tasks that and to release all that time, you know, to make time for creative tasks, for improvement and optimizations. And that is the issue that we are trying to tackle, the industry issue that we are trying to tackle with our smart engines. Also, when we think about BIM idea, the collaboration is what comes up, you know, and because of that, I think that we should really strongly promote open BIM workflows, integration between different BIM products, and standards like IFC, BCF. So we are really working on a lot of bodies, also through chapters of Building Smart, and also FIDI, Kafka, ISO standardization. So we are really trying to help in that manner.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for this. For taking a look at the BIM community now, how and why do you support the BIMe Initiative community, and how do you see the ongoing projects?
Well, you know, our support to the BIM initiative is something that really comes naturally. You know, it is a great initiative. It is doing such a great job, and personally, as I'm working in this industry for quite a long time, I can say and testify how important it is to actually establish common knowledge and to ensure mutual understandings between project stakeholders when it comes to BIM uses and implementation. So that's one of the things we really see that BIM initiative is working towards, and also that synergy that is present in BIM initiative between academia and industry. You know, that synergy is something that we see as the most important for actual adoption of some innovation and digital transformation in the industry. You know, so everything that you guys are doing are fully in line with our vision and long-term strategies. So, you know, you skipped that quick slide, but we have the program for academia. So our educational licenses are available for academics, and we can say that almost majority of the world, so users are academics are using for our platform and educational licenses for more than 130 countries, you know, and yes, we have that available in local languages. So it's really great. You know, we support also academics, so professors in implementing BIM in their courses, programs, and we try to push it forward in the industry. You know, we have very interesting MVP programs of most valuable persons, so the experts that are also pushing the integrated BIM. We are all about the integrated BIM project management in their industries, and of course, I would like to take this opportunity as well to invite all the professors, academics, and professionals to contact us and to communicate about possible collaboration. In terms of projects that are active within BIMe Initiative. Well, I can list it almost all. BIM dictionary, BIM model uses, macro adoption, also very interesting for me as a BIM Serbia Association board member. Also BIM tools list. We actually create BIM tools. So all the projects are very well planned from my angle, and also I see that they are directed to push the digitalization of the industry. And at the end, like the best that I can say about BIMe Initiative is that you actually provide it open access knowledge database that will go through the industry and really improve it a lot. So yes, we are very motivated. In my team, I have a lot of experienced BIM professionals that are keen to be a part of some your initiatives and projects. I don't know, I maybe some of them I can mention, like construction planning or lean process analysis or field BIM, or so those are all interesting model uses for us. So yes, I think that we have a lot in common and a lot to work together, and I'm glad that we are supporters.
I think that's great. Very exciting. Very exciting. Thank you very much, Igor, for your presentation. It was excellent one.
Thank you, Bruno.
Do you have anything else to say? Has a close-out comments?
Well,
just for everyone, you're gonna stay here, tuning with us, and
yes.
there are a few questions on the YouTube, and you're gonna be back for the Q&A session.
Yeah.
But has I just like some close-out comments, if you may so?
Well, just keep the good work. That is everything that one supporter can say. You really inspire, and I think that you should have even wider support, and that you will have it. And this event is great. It's first, and I believe that there is a lot more to come. So it is a really great job that BIMe Initiative is doing.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you soon on the Q&A session.
Okay.
And Professor Regina, it's up to you now to keep sequence to the event. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you both for such a nice conversation, an interesting interview. So nice to hear from Igor how he envisioned us. Thank you very much. Both of you will be back after the macro adoption project is presented. So let's go on. Now we're going to have the BIM Initiative presenting the macro adoption project. A little bit about it. The BIM Initiative wants to contribute to BIM implementation worldwide. Therefore, we developed the macro adoption project that will be presented by Dani Murgia and Mohamed Kassam. I'm going to present both of them right now. Dani Murgia is assistant professor at the Pontifical Catholic University in Peru and a PhD researcher at Loughborough University in the United Kingdom. Mohamed Kassam, a longtime friend of mine, is full professor of digital construction and engineering at Northumbria University and leader of Built Environment Digital Future Research Group. Both are team members of macro adoption. Thank you both. And now the display is yours.
Thank you very much, Regina. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Sabah al-khair, masa al-khair. That means good morning, good afternoon in my native language, Arabic. I would like to thank everyone who's been in this proceeding. Regina, Bilal, Teya, our sponsor, everyone. It's been great. I would like to thank the attendees really very quickly. It's amazing to see people from all over the world, India, Brazil, Mexico, you name it. It's amazing, really. So in this part of the seminar, I will be introducing one of the BIM Excellence, BIM Initiative project, which is the Macro Adoption Project. The first part, which I am presenting before handing over to Dani, will cover mainly three components. We'll introduce the team very quickly. We'll tell you what this Macro Adoption Project is about, and then we'll give you an overview of what happened in the last for 5 years under this macro adoption project, will briefly introduce the strategy and pass on the ball to Danny to go into details of the strategy. To start with the project team, currently we have in the project team, Dr. Bilal, myself, Professor Toledo, Dr. Danny, and Mrs. Cristiani. Myself and Danny are presenting the first part, and Eduardo and Cristiani are handling the Q&A. So some background about this project. This project really started a long time ago in 2010, when we first identified the challenges facing policymakers in approaching the digital transformation challenge or issue at market-wide level. So we have done really lots of research over time. After we have identified the challenges, there were really lots of challenges. Policymakers didn't have many case studies to learn from. They didn't have any decision support tool or anything to rely on to, for example, to answer basic question: who to involve in the digital transformation, what it entails, how it should unfold over time, what are the different ways of going about digital transformation. So lots of really basic research question. We addressed them between 2010 and 2015, developing a number of academic papers. And after we really published the first few academic papers, we started engaging with policymakers. They started calling us for our expertise to help them. So we did a few consultancies or advisory all over the world, in Latin America region and Europe. And we published a number of policy reports and a number of journal articles to validate what we've been doing. And since then, since 2017, we started slightly expanding more and recruiting more members. And we are now ready with a new strategy that you will see in the next few minutes. So they were really, what you see on this timeline, it refers to many reports and studies that are available publicly, most of them. So now moving on to what is really macro BIM adoption, what this project is about. Let me briefly, I don't want to be too much academic here. Let me briefly define the term, because many of you might not be familiar with this project. So the first term in macro BIM adoption is macro. So what we mean by macro simply is we focus on the whole market or country or the large region. So we don't look at a single organization, we don't look at a single project, we look at the whole market, and that's our level of investigation. So that's really the meaning of macro. BIM is also defined as a current expression of digital innovation within construction and built environment. Basically, like Bilal explained earlier, we refer to BIM as an umbrella term that's currently driving digital innovation within construction. And I don't know, in 10 years, there might be something else. But really, since over the last 10 years and up to now, we're still really living in an era where BIM, it's what's driving digital innovation within construction. Finally, the word adoption. It's really important to define this because there's lots of confusion, and it's used interchangeably with implementation. In our macro BIM adoption, the way we refer, what we mean by adoption is a mix of activities covering both implementation and diffusion. So implementation is everything you do up to basically from like implementing processes, implementing technologies, training people, starting using BIM on projects. So all of those things are under implementation. Once implementation is completed successfully, BIM is implemented within an organization or in a project. Then you move on implementation from one organization to another and from one project to another. That's called diffusion. It's like pandemic, So this is what we mean by adoption. So in a nutshell, macro BIM adoption is about investigating BIM adoption or digital transformation at macro level. So what we've been doing since we launched this project, we've been doing lots of assessment. What we mean by assessment? So we go to a country, we use the tools we have. You will see some of them later on, very briefly, and we try to understand. We try to appraise or assess the digital transformation effort. Using a number of indicators. So basically, we might assess the maturity, we might assess the way BIM is being diffused, we might assess what's actually being diffused within the country, and so on. So basically, in addition to doing the assessment, we have done lots of keynotes presentation around the world. We have done probably more than 30. This is really a small selection. Bilal has been here generous. He put only mine. You should put yours, Bilal. You have done much more than this. So yeah, we have done lots of invited keynotes and presentation all over the world. So what we did is, in addition to those really dissemination and knowledge sharing through keynotes, we have done lots of studies. Some studies were done, we call them macro assessment campaign. Some studies were done as part of the research. So the one you see here, 2015, 2016, it involved 21 countries. These were done as part of the research in 2015, 2016. And we covered 21 countries where we assessed their BIM adoption, macro BIM adoption, and benchmarked all these countries against each other. And then we, since 2016, what we did is we did further studies. You can see we have done since just in the last 3 years, we have done 17 in-depth studies in 17 countries. What we mean in depth is we focus on that country. We just do the assessment of that country without benchmarking it to a different country directly. And we get lots of people to participate in our assessment campaign. Many of these, you can see in 2017, between 2017 and 2019, were done as part of really sometimes direct appointment or direct request by governments. And some were done by basically in collaboration with major organization or institution within the country. So, for example, in Ireland, we worked with CETA. In Spain, we worked with Building Smart. In Canada, we worked with Construction 4.0 Initiative, and so on. This is really, I don't want to go in detail in this. This is just to show you some of the templates or tools we developed within the macro BIM project. What you see here is on the first, the top line are the ingredients that are required in a digital transformation within a market. And the first column are the players or actors who should participate and support the digital transformation in a country. Both those, both elements on the top line and on the first column comes from very well structured and validated model that we developed. So simply, you just put these against each other, and you would be able to plan the role of each market actors within a specific market against each of the digital transformation ingredient. So you can say, for example, to set up market-wide objective and stages, this is the primary responsibility of policymakers, and you can plan all roles and responsibility in this way. So another model or tool we used, is it's another basically derivation of what I showed you. What you see here on the first vertically are the ingredient or component required in a digital transformation within market. If you simply put a timeline against those and start putting specific objectives and mapping those specific objectives under each of those ingredients against time, you will be able basically to quickly develop a roadmap that's quite that's generally very comprehensive. So you can basically say objective stages and milestone. You can decide what to do within 2020, 2021, and you can do the same for all other components. I wouldn't go in details in those things. If you really look at some of the roadmap developed by different countries, like from Ireland to Brazil, you can see the similarity with this kind of roadmap we have here. So moving on now to what we are doing as part of the new project. So what I explained up to now is what we have done over the last 3-4 years. I'm not sure if you agree with me, but it's been really, really successful, but we've been very, very modest about it. It's a unique effort worldwide. Actually, it's a leading effort, and it deserves a much, much, much better place. So we are all aware of this within the initiative. So we decided to come together and say, we need now to give justice to this project. We need to be very what's called very ambitious about it. So we put together a new strategy, and the aim of this strategy really to position this work clearly as the leading worldwide effort in digital transformation at market level. And to do that, we need to structure our effort very well, because the only way to be to lead internationally, to expand it, you need to be very well structured, very well organized. So we have done this, and this is really the event where we are launching our new strategy. I'll just give you the objective of that strategy before handing over to Danny. So first of all, the key objective, we have 4 objectives under the strategy. So the first one, it reflects that strategy mission or vision we have just seen, is to position the effort as a worldwide leading research effort. And what we mean by that is we need to become the de facto place for policymaker in terms of digital transformation advisory or tools or templates at market-wide level. Each of those objectives has success measures against them. We wouldn't go in details there now for this presentation, but each of those objectives is quantified through success measures. So the second objective is, obviously, this is a core objective. We need to identify or investigate the adoption of BIM tools and workflow. We need to be able to benchmark key adoption indicators, and here we are developing actually 3 types of indicators. Some related to the general policy environment, some related to the educational environment, and some related to adoption of BIM in organization. So we are developing those indicators for all those 3 areas. And the next objective is to provide resources and tailored advice to policymakers to help them achieve digital transformation at market-wide level. Again, this objective, we have success measures over the 3 years. We've been very successful in relation to this objective in the past 5 years. I think hopefully we will continue that success in the next 3 years. Objective D, which is the final objective of the new strategy, we said earlier we need to structure it, we need to expand it. So to do that, we need a network of worldwide subject experts to be involved with us on 2 sides, either on the assessment side, basically within the country who benefits from our work to do that, to lead on assessment, or on our side to work with us on improving the resources we have and the resources we use to investigate macro BIM adoption. So with this, I think I have finished my part. I will hand over to Danny to go through some of the details under this new strategy.
Yes. Thank you, Mohammed. Hi, everyone. Hola todos. That was in Spanish. I will carry on with my presentation. Here, we will talk about the project organization and what are the next steps to involve you in this project. So in this updated strategy that builds upon all the previous research that has been conducted before, it has numerous micro projects. That was part of the strategy, to divide this effort in multiple micro projects. And we can list them here. It goes from E1 to E8. It's just, we can just name it here. We will explain it in the next slides. It's project administration, the new conceptual components. So how we changed the previous models to create new conceptual components. Then macro adoption assessments, macro adoption guide, report, the reference library, the macro adoption dashboard, and academic publications. So I will explain now, just very briefly, the detail of these micro projects. So micro project E1 is related to project administration. It deals with the scope of the project, all the resources, activities, and the collaboration agreements that we have to sign with participants in different markets. How are we recruiting country leaders and also country participants in the study? Then it will also deal with funding and how can get grants or sponsorship to further expand the project. Then project E2, we've been working on this project in the last, at least the last 6 months. We collated lessons learned from all the previous studies that Mohammed mentioned earlier. And with these previous studies, with the lessons learned, we were developing a new framework, new indicators and metrics and the templates. So those can be now assessed in different markets, and our goal is to reach up to 50 markets in the next few years. Then project E3, it deals with the macro adoption assessments, is how to prepare, conduct, and manage macro adoption studies in different markets. Then the macro adoption guide, it's an online resource that we will develop for policymakers, so they can retrieve lessons learned from different countries, decision support templates as the ones that Mohammed presented, and country snapshots. So we can have all this information collated from different and numerous countries, policymakers can have a sense of what's happening around the world. Then macro adoption report. It's that will be an annual report summarizing the state of macro BIM adoption in numerous countries. So that's the collation of assessments in different countries in a single report that can be available for the public. The reference library is mapping useful macro adoption resources and international noteworthy publications, so that we can have all access to this reference library. Then the E7, which is the macro adoption dashboard, which is an online dashboard to display macro adoption data and create a public engagement. So we can explore, export data sets and create custom views and export data and print reports on these new templates and new indicators that we are proposing as in this expansion of the project. And the final project is academic publications. It's how we present this to conference, industry presentations, and dissemination of the new knowledge through peer-reviewed publications. Now, as part of the lessons learned from previous studies, from the work that Bilal and Mohammed carried out in the last years, we realized that a better way to capture the reality of different countries is to split the assessment in 3 different types, and we label them as type 1, 2, and 3. Type 1 is called the macro policy environment, so it's the first set of indicators in a region, in a country, and this establishes whether policies are being enacted by policymakers to facilitate BIM adoption and digital transformation across a defined market. And I will explain in the next few slides who will be dealing with this type of surveys. Then study type number 2 deals with another aspect of macro, which is the first one was macro policies enacted by policymakers. This is macro educational landscape, and it establishes whether there are new topics, educational practices, qualifications dealing with digital transformation, collaboration, and information management across educational institutions, not only universities, but also training providers and industry associations. And we expect to collect this data through surveys. And the final type, which is type 3, is adoption. Is probably the third component, which is organizational adoption, is establishing whether the digital transformation tools, workflows, and protocols are being adopted by organizations in a market. And in this case, we are targeting organizations from all sizes, from a sample, from a small, medium, and large organizations in across disciplines and specialties. And this is in a nutshell the description of the macro adoption workflow. It's we start with the strategy, which is the first stage. We've been working very hard on that in the last months, and now it's time to conduct the studies. To conduct these studies, and our target is to reach as far as 50 countries in the across the 5 continents, and to collect data from these study types that I just mentioned, and then and from there to share the knowledge. That's one of the goals of the initiative, to share this knowledge in reports. Could be single market reports, and also across market reports that we mentioned as well. And then we have to we have to have an impact on this, which is how these new tools, new insights from these studies around different countries, how can help policymakers. And that's why we have this macro adoption dashboard and reports, because we want to engage policymakers to transform the digital transformation approaches based on this knowledge. And this will be expanded even further in the next few years. So what are the next steps? So where are we now, and what are the next steps? As I mentioned, we designed the new study types and new indicators. Now we have to test to see if they really work. That's the immediate next step. And then we are going to have to identify markets from 50 countries and identify collaborating partners. And that will be a critical point for the success of the project, to identify partners as I established earlier, from policy environment. So we were looking for individuals and working for institutions which are involved in the BIM discussions in the region, in the market, and are working close with digital or BIM transformation or steering committees in the countries. Also looking for people for study 2, type 2, researchers or practitioners working for institutions, delivering BIM training, and with a network that covers the wide range of training aspects, like universities, training providers, industry associations, or vocational training. And finally, organizational adoption. We are looking for institutions that can assess organizations from different sizes in the market. And then after identifying the collaborating partners, we have to sign collaboration agreements. And then the most exciting part of this is launch simultaneous studies in 50 different countries. So we can, after that, study the data, collect the data, and present the new knowledge from these insights. This is the snapshot as well of how are we going to recruit participants. We have we will show explicitly what will be the competency profile of the study type leaders, and also study types participants, who will be the people filling the surveys in each country. So we will have to make that clear. We have to first establish the contact, sign collaboration agreements, and we have to review the scope, maybe localize some terms, translate the instruments to the language, and then collect the data, launch the campaigns in each country, and then analyze the data, check the validity, and also publish the reports in each market. Could be single report per study types, or and unified cross-market report. And I think that's the last slide. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Dani and Mohammed, for presenting your work with the potential to measure and guide a highly demanded transformation in our practice. And if we think that in our initiative, we have as mission accelerate digital transformation, to know where we are and to understand what is needed to do next is very important. And we see many efforts doing this, but usually it's on company, not on a whole picture, on a market size scenario. So I think this project is very important. So now we go on to the question and answer, the Q&A session. And we will have also questions from the public about a BEXEL presentation. But I would like to invite to do this conversation with the public, Professor Eduardo Toledo and Ms. Cristiane Magalhães. I will present Eduardo first. Eduardo is assistant professor at the University of São Paulo and also BIMe Dictionary Portuguese Language Director here at BIMe Initiative. Cristiane Magalhães is an architect, master in urban engineering, currently PhD researcher at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, and works at Feijão here in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And so Eduardo and Cristiane, I leave the display with you, and please answer the questions. Also, we have here with us back Igor Osmokrovic. I'm not very good at your pronunciation yet, but I will learn till the end of the seminar.
Right. Thank you. You're good.
Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Dani and Mohammed, for the great presentation on our project. We have a few questions here. I think the first one is Cristiane can answer. Chris, go ahead.
Okay, good morning. The first one is about Alice Sheetfed. Her question is, BIMe is, however, some countries have massive progress toward BIM, while other countries are not. So, how BIM support young researchers for countries with less BIM effort? Okay, we have to say that the macro BIM adoption project is one of the BIMe efforts. So we can really help countries that want to behind BIM, that lagging behind BIM implementation, and the successful of that project. So it will happen with the more advanced countries that are with them. So the macro BIM adoption is one of the BIM efforts.
Yeah, if I could add, I would say that probably this project is targeted to the less developed countries in BIM, because what we're going is when we evaluate all countries, we are getting the experience of the more advanced ones and offering this experience to the other countries so that they can develop as well. And in our questions, you asked this specific about young researchers, how BIME can support. Look, I think that one of our macro assessments is on the educational landscape. So I think that one of the things that we're going to discover is that having a strong research base is paramount for accelerating BIM deployment in the country. So we're going to be telling the policymakers on this less advanced countries that they have to support their researchers, because this forms a basis so that they can go forward. Okay. Let's see another question here. It's about where's the other one?
He has an interesting question, Eduardo. When you launched this project, I think the project started some years ago, and perhaps we can. Yes, it's about the launch of the project. I think we can invite all of us to talk about the history, because this project started some years ago, and now the project we are now restructuring to reach a much wider goal and study many more countries. Perhaps you and Mohammed, Danny, Bilal, that are the project from the beginning, could explain us a little bit more about that challenge.
Yeah, thank Christiani. First of all, I would like to quickly thank those, without naming really individuals, those who are giving compliments on the chat. I think the start date, Danny has explained. We are today we are launching the new strategy, and we have all our tools almost ready. We are very close to start recruiting partners from 50 countries. So officially, I can say the project has started, because everything I mentioned is part of the project. The actual assessment campaign, where people, we start getting data from different countries, that will take probably a few weeks until we have signed all those agreements with 50 countries. That will take some time, but we are ready as an initiative to start signing agreement at this stage.
Okay, thank you. And I think we have another question for Mohammed. Is from Stefania Correa. She asks, your paper, the paper on macro BIM adoption in Brazil was published in 2015, and it seems to be more focused on residential and commercial buildings. Is there any plan of updating the study, including infrastructure projects?
Thank you for the question. I think I have to disagree with the comment. Yes. Unfortunately, it's not really focused on buildings at all. It's focused on digital transformation, whether it's building and infrastructure. Yes, some of the components that are involved in the assessment might be more relevant to buildings, but generally it's about digital transformation effort, what's needed, how it happened, who should be involved, and that happened really regardless of building, rail, or airport, or bridges or motorways. So it is quite generic. It does not affect the type of the sector or discipline. It's about digital transformation, really.
Yeah, maybe I can jump in as well there. I just have something to say. As part of the type 3 study that we mentioned, we are covering adoption, digital transformation adoption in different organizations. And as I mentioned, it ranges from small, medium, and large organizations. But also, we have to see it on the other way. You have to include clients, architects, engineers, operators to really capture the reality of the country. We have to see from different angles what is the sample that we are approaching to.
Yeah, Danny, this is related to Douglas Brito question, which is micro adoption at the organizational level part of the scope of the macro adoption project? Are there models and frameworks to assess micro adoption?
Well, yeah, actually. That's also a new part of this research design. That's why we split the macro, policy, and educational indicators, because we have the hypothesis that those indicators in each country will have an effect on the organizations. So the organizations are like the meso level, and all aggregated could be the macro adoption of the organizations. And that's one of the questions we're going to investigate. What is the relationship between those macro indicators from the policy environment, from the macro educational landscape, how those have an effect, and having information from 50 different countries will have the richness of data to find those relationships.
Yeah. By the way, this is kind of related to the question of Carlos Aguilar, which is the macro adoption project collected data is going to bring us an X-ray image of BIM deployment around the world. Are other projects created to get access to funding or develop a BIM according to this data in each country? Anyone can jump in?
Yeah, I can answer this probably partially, not fully. I'm not sure what's meant by about are there other project getting funding based on this data. But from our experience, many change agent or people in a position of making a change within different countries are using our data to make a case to policymakers. So even the data we published in 2015, I came personally across two countries. I don't want to mention the two countries, but I came across a major stakeholder within those countries, large professional bodies. They used that data and they went to the government, said, look, actually, where is our position? We are behind country A and country B, and mainly for reason A, B, and C. Why don't we invest collectively as a country in digital transformations through BIM? So our data is being used in a number of countries to motivate and engage with policymakers to invest in digital transformation.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed. There's another question by Alejandro, which is, how does the approach in the macro adoption study, study changes in developing countries? So how do we study changes in developing countries? Well, the approach in each country is the same with adoptions in the collection strategy, but there's this idea of repeating the study for several years so that we can monitor the changes in each country, right? So this is the idea.
Yeah, currently I agree. Currently we have some early insight about that happens. You usually tend to find developing countries, they have lower maturity than developed countries in certain area, like for example engagement of policymaker in the digital transformation effort, affordability of technology, and similar things. But like Eduardo said, once we have that data longitudinally over 3 years and from 3 separate studies, we'll be able to get really great insight about the differences between not only developed country and developing country, between different country type, different cultures, different setting or structures of the construction sector. So yeah, that's really exciting time ahead. We're looking forward to that.
Here we have Rodolfo De Boni asking, how can macro adoption facilitate exchanges between professionals and projects between countries?
Okay. Do
Yes.
you want to take that, Eduardo?
Yes, see, the idea of the projects is to exchange experiences. So the experience in a successful country can be adapted to be used in other countries. Professionals and projects. Our studies at a macro level, so it's not really at the level of professionals or even specific projects, but at the level of policymakers and educational institutions, etc. So it's not directly targeted to professionals and projects.
Yeah, I would like to add something there. Probably we, as a major objective, is we need to assess countries in different stages of development. We will have the lowest the countries with the lowest adoption at the moment, and then the others with the highest maturity. And from those differences, from all these countries, we can learn, and from these insights of what are the macro indicators at the educational or policy environment that really has an effect on adoption, that will be insights to policymakers. We can give those insights that these are the most important indicators or factors that you should focus. You can work on that, so that can boost the adoption of developing countries.
Yeah, I think I just quickly, really, I'm sure there are other questions. In the new, Danny has presented 3 study types. Across those 3 study types, there are lots of questions around not only the policy environment, but also about projects and organization. So there will be lots of opportunities of linking these 3 layers together and providing insight across the 3 layers.
Okay. How are we have 2 minutes, right? There's perhaps our final question. Don't know if we have any more time, but Sanded Odediran asks, how can BIM be relevant in developing countries like Nigeria, where the level of infrastructure to support BIM implementation is low? I guess that depends on what kind of infrastructure you're referring to. If you're talking about electricity, so this is very problematic. But for example, suppose that internet access is not very good. We have to remember that internet access is very important for collaborative BIM, but BIM can be very useful even in let's say level 1 or lonely being used. For example, inside an architectural office, you have several advantages, and you start that way. So before getting to a more advanced level. So even if you don't reach a very collaborative level very in the beginning, BIM can be very useful. So that's something everyone should look at. I guess we're done. Regina?
Yes. Okay. I have two questions for Igor. The first one, Igor, is how are KPIs implemented and used in the BEXEL BIM solutions?
Yes, thank you for the question. The best thing about BEXEL Manager solution is the integrated approach. So at the one environment, you'll have the entire BIM model, all the quantifications, entire schedule, construction schedule with all the needed resources and costs. And then you will monitor and track your actual construction progress by inputting the constructed elements. So it is possible to track your progress element-based, not only putting quantities. Of course, we have that as well. So you get the interesting and very informative plan versus actual analysis, earned value analysis, and with all that data, you're able to create the dashboards with KPIs to track your actual costs in means of planned ones, or to track your progress milestones. So it is everything integrated in the one environment, and really informative for project manager to create good decisions and to navigate the project towards the success.
Yeah, because one thing about KPI, it's based on information, and information has to be inputted, you know. So
it is the process that is fully supported within BEXEL Manager to input the progress and also the use resources for achieving that progress. So in the end, you get full comparison, and later for the following projects, you are able to extract that knowledge and then reuse it. So it's really a good tool for that.
well, very nice. Thank you. And the second question is from Carlos Souza. Very nice question. What do you think of the strong entry from companies as Bentley, Autodesk, Trimble, and others in the field of architecture, engineering, construction? Will they replace traditional A&C companies?
Well, in terms of that question, digital transformation is changing the industry, and we have to understand that. And the most important is that the companies that are going to be successful in digital transformation and ready for the new business models and the improved productivity that is brought by digitalization will definitely survive. Such big companies, yes, they are strong, but they are not able to take over the entire industry. It is all about getting ready for the new construction industry methods. So if you are dedicated to follow all the digital transformation and open standards and collaborate between, you're safe.
Yeah, I think it's all about partnership,
Yes, of course, and community like this and knowledge also supports all the smaller companies as well.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Well, thank you so much, guys, for this Q&A. Thank you so much for the questions sent, the presentation of BEXEL and Macro project. So now we go on, right? Oh, there's one. Okay, so now we go on. We have reached the end of day one of Excellence Seminar. For me, I think for all, what an exciting and intense first day. So much to share in 2 hours. We started to understand some of BIMe Initiative means to encourage digital innovation and foster international collaboration in order to improve the built environment. We had great feedback from you all, compliments, questions. We were able to answer some of them, and we have just started. So I would like to thank our presenters of the day, Bilal Sukar, Dani Murgia, Mohamed Qasim, the moderators, Thea, Helman Yukish, Bruno Mota, Eduardo Toledo, Cristiane Magalhães, the supporter, Igor Osmokrovic from BEXEL. We also like to thank our staff. They call themselves the Dream Team. They have been working 2 months to prepare for this moment, and I would like to present them. They are Agavan, Aki Barrier, Bilal Sukar, Bruno Mota, Buju Barutko, Lorena Luedi, and Paula Mota. Well, thank you for sharing knowledge and experiences with the public. You represent a huge community with more than 130 volunteers from 40 countries, as Bilal presented, and you work a lot to improve the BIMe initiative. About tomorrow we'll have at the same time the second day of the Excellence Seminar, and we will discuss knowledge organization and sharing, competency and learning, and BIM dictionary. Also, moments of question and answer will happen, and we'll get to know other BIMe supporters. So today, our special thanks goes to you for joining us. Remember to visit the website, bimexcellent.org, and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Guys, would like to also take a word and say thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you all, and see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, Bilal.